Dallas, welcome to the Sunday Afternoon Smokes Lounge.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. We've got cigars on hand. I've poured up some Sagamore double. What is that? Double oak. Sagamore double oak rye. You've opted just for water.
Water.
Totally fine.
I'm a gin girl, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, gin through and through. It's good for the allergies.
Is that what it is?
It's good for the allergies, yeah.
That's odd, though, because gin is all floral and flowers and allergies.
Yeah, it's just the same thing as like having a tablespoon of honey for your allergies. Same vibe.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I don't.
I
don't suffer or struggle with allergies. I'm one of those very.
I'm a sufferer. Yeah.
Persecuted.
I'll wake up and I'm like, the lymph nodes are speaking to me. There's something in the air. I can tell you what pollen's going on.
So what is it about gin that you like?
I love the floral. I just love that it's easy to drink. I love that it doesn't give me a headache and it doesn't give me a stomach ache. I just love the taste of gin. I like what it pairs with. It pairs so nicely with, obviously, floral notes. Like I said, honey. A lot of, it's typically very pretty, too.
Mm-hmm.
The drinks are always pretty.
Yeah, I tried some gin the other day when I was visiting a friend, actually my wife's friends, in Alabama, and he bought, what was it like? It's like whale tail.
Yes, we've had that. Yeah.
And I'm not.
Was it the pink one?
That was the blue.
Oh, the blue one. Okay, we've had the pink one. I haven't had the blue one.
Okay, I mean it was fine. It was good. It's not really like my thing.
I'll say the whale tail does get a little soapy, it just tastes a little soapy to me.
Well, that's a comment a lot of people make about cilantro.
Yeah, same thing.
Which I dislike cilantro.
Do you
with
really?
A passion. Should we stop recording?
Yeah, I'm walking out.
Done.
I'm done. And you're from Texas?
Yeah.
And you don't like cilantro?
No, I do not.
How do you survive?
Very happily.
Like, I'm fine, actually.
Yeah.
Doesn't affect me at all.
I don't know what it is. I just dislike it. I don't like the taste.
It's
and my
the
wife,
genetic thing.
Yeah, my wife doesn't like it either, so our marriage stays happy.
Well, it's like the olive theory.
The what?
The olive theory?
I'm unfamiliar.
If one person in the relationship loves olives, the other person will eat the olives.
No,
and you don't like olives.
I dislike olives.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So you'll give your olives to her.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't really. I mean, I've actually grown into olives, so we'll see how that goes in the future for me and my husband. But
no, well, I tell you what, though, there's like, if you go to Ristorante Bergamo in downtown Greenville, are you familiar with it?
Yep.
Love Chef JP. I need to get him on the show. But the fresh olives there that still has the pit in them.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Marinated olives.
I will eat those.
A warm marinated olive, but I can't just eat olive from a jar.
Well, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken, is there not a large selection of olives at Pita House?
I've never been to Pita House.
Never been. How long have you been in Greenville? Not very long.
Yeah, that's a sore subject. Cut the cameras. I have clients here that think I've been here since October, but I didn't actually move here until the beginning of April, and I've had 4 weddings since I've been here.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, so I was working at our headquarters office. Sorry, I probably should have put that in a note. I didn't even think about it. But I worked at our...
We've been communicating for a while.
Yeah.
I just assumed you were here.
No, yeah, so I've been with Stunning and Brilliant Events. You can keep this in, actually. I don't really care.
Okay.
But I've been with Stunning and Brilliant Events since 2020, and I was an intern at first, and then grew into, I moved to Arizona. I was there for a few years, and I came back to S&B as a lead planner at our headquarters office in Myrtle Beach. So by the time we were communicating, I had already launched my business in October, and I was booking people actively, and I was connecting with vendors and stuff, but I wasn't actually here.
That's why travel has been so crazy.
Yeah.
And we've communicated a little bit here and there for various things, and you're talking about crazy travel. Like,
you're like, are you available this day? I'm like, no.
It's all.
I have a wedding in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, it's all making sense.
You're like, I'm gonna do that. She's a liar. Okay, I got it. No, I'm kidding. But it was because I wanted my clients in Myrtle Beach to know that I'm not, putting all my focus in Greenville, and I wanted my Greenville clients to know that yes, I am here. And I would come up for meetings and stuff, but I wasn't physically here.
Sure, that's okay.
And that's a trick, guys.
All right. Well, look, before we get way too
Yeah.
far into it, the way I roll with Sunday afternoon smokes, you're welcome to light your cigar when you're ready. You've got an option. You've got a torch or you got a long stem match. And it's up to you. You're going to go for the torch.
Yeah.
I like to let my guests just introduce themselves.
Okay, I should do that before I...
Yeah, take a minute, say as much or as little about yourself as you'd like.
Yeah.
And then while you do that, I'll light my cigar.
Yes.
And then I'll get in as you light your cigar.
Perfect. Okay. Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to my show. I'm taking over now. I'm Dallas Vickers with Stunning and Brilliant Events. I own our Greenville location. Like I was saying earlier, I've been with Stunning and Brilliant since 2020. So during the lockdown, I was an intern for Sarah McCall, who's our CEO of the company. At that time, I think we only had, of course, our headquarters office in Myrtle Beach and then 2 or 3 other franchises in other cities. And then since then, it's snowballed. So now we have 17 locations across the U.S. And I am Miss Greenville. So I've been wedding and event planning since I graduated college, and I'm loving it. I absolutely love Greenville so much, and I can't wait to keep going here and making more connections. So
nice.
Yeah.
Loved it so much. You just moved here at the beginning of the month.
Yeah. I know. It's crazy. No, Jake and I were my husband and I were just talking about it on our way over here. He was like, we're going to Arkansas at the end of the week to visit his family. He was like, I can't wait to just have a weekend here, because as soon as I got here, I had a wedding on the 18th. And then this past week, I had a corporate event on Wednesday, set up for a wedding Thursday. Set up for a wedding Thursday. Friday, I had, a rehearsal or whatever. And then Saturday, I had a wedding. Sure. So it's been go. Yeah. It's been busy already. And I get a little break in May, and then June, it kicks up again.
Nice.
So.
Well, look, go ahead and fire up your cigar. I've got you. Like I said, you're welcome to use the torch lighter. You can use.
I'm kind of scared of this thing, but I have one for.
There it is. You were smoking. Yeah, toast it up. You're gonna need more fire than that.
Okay.
You don't smoke a lot of cigars, do you?
Can you tell?
Okay. Yeah, just a little bit. Look, let me help you out.
Help me.
Let me help.
It's like this is painful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long and slow. More.
Oh.
No, one more. Don't inhale.
Am I good?
We'll see.
It's nice.
So, I like to tell people when you're smoking a cigar, you want a long and slow drag.
Okay.
You really want to fill up the mouth, get all the flavor, but also you have to understand you're maintaining like an ember in here. Which needs oxygen.
Right.
Like at the end, turn around and go ahead and smoke it for me. Take a drag on that. See, I would like to see more cherry.
Yeah.
At the end, it really light up. And don't be afraid while you're talking to stop and smoke your cigar.
Okay.
This is a casual show. Forget there's a camera. We're just 2 people hanging out, having a smoke, having a talk. So please stop and smoke the cigar. We can relight if we need to. This is not an issue. But you are, as you said, with Stunning and Brilliant Events, but things don't start there for you.
Yeah.
They begin in the world of culinary.
Yes. Yeah, so I went to school for initially nutrition and dietetics, and then I quickly hated that, and I didn't want to tell people what to eat. I wanted to feed them. So I was in a few cooking classes because I was a nutrition major, and I just fell in love with the head chef at my school, and I went to school in East Texas. Let's go. At Stephen F. Austin State University. Go Jacks. Axum. I'm saying all that because he's from Texas.
I am from Texas. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm from Southeast Texas.
Yes.
Hour and a half east of Houston in the little Beaumont, Port Arthur area.
Yeah.
That's where I was born and grew up. And Texas is a beautiful place.
It is,
You know,
especially East Texas.
Mhm.
Speaking of East Texas, I mean, this whole area, whenever we first drove into Greenville, we were coming to see Stevie Nicks, and we were just like, it feels like East Texas if East Texas wasn't in a swamp and it was in mountains. So,
Well, see, yeah, my dad worked in the oil refineries down there,
Yeah.
when I was a kid. And yeah, it is all swamp, marshy, mosquitoes that will carry you away, hurricanes,
yeah.
fire ants. People don't
Yeah.
know nothing about fire ants out here.
People don't know about fire
No,
ants
they
out
don't.
here. Or mosquitoes.
Or mosquitoes. Like I've been to a few places visiting friends. There's a little bit of mosquitoes,
Yeah.
but like
I mean,
in my backyard in this home, mosquitoes don't exist. And I'm like, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Although I do love Texas.
Yeah, me too.
You know, it will always be home.
Same.
I
I don't want to live there, but I love it there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to live there?
No.
No? Why
At
not?
least not in Central Texas.
Sure.
I grew up in Austin, right outside of Austin, and I was just there a few weeks ago, and it's not at all what it was.
Well, sure. No. See, I went to school at what is now Texas State University in San Marcos.
Yeah.
At the time was Southwest Texas State. And so that whole, like, different parts of Texas have their things. Like Southeast Texas is very green, very flat.
And a lot more southern. It has more of a southern culture than where I grew up.
Like far west Texas towards New Mexico starts getting very mountainous, very deserty. But then that beautiful spot in the middle, Austin,
Fredericksburg,
New Braunfels, like the rolling hills and the creeks and the rivers and the Indian paintbrushes and the bluebonnets, and it is gorgeous.
It is pretty, but I see it as the way that you view Central Texas is how I view East Texas. Is like, wow, this is a paradise compared to the rolling hills. And speaking of allergies,
well, it depends on what part of East Texas you talk.
That's true.
Because like I'm down in the like
I'm not sure about where you're from.
No, see, because I'm like 45 minutes from Louisiana, 30 minutes from the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah,
and it's swampy.
Yeah,
but the further up the East Coast you go,
Tyler to Nacogdoches is just beautiful.
Very different.
Yeah,
from Southeast.
Yeah. So I went to school at SFA, and I eventually got into culinary and hospitality focus. So I was taking hospitality classes, hospitality business classes, culinary classes, all of that fun stuff. And then I ended up switching my major to hospitality in general with a focus in event planning, and through that I still did all this culinary fun stuff. So it was a great modge podge of, luckily I went to a small enough school that getting a hospitality degree meant that I had a focus in all of these things. I mean, I knew how to run a hotel the same way I knew how to prepare, a French cuisine, 5-star restaurant style meal. And that was such a privilege. And then, after college, I actually worked for Kendra Scott, and I was doing their, we moved to Arizona. Let me back up. So Jake and I met my senior year of college, and he already had a job lined up. He was a wildland firefighter, and he was already going to Arizona. So I was like, well, I'll follow you. I don't want to stay here, so I'm going to go with you. So I moved to Phoenix, and I worked for Kendra Scott, who, again, Texas person, and did their philanthropy events, but I kind of hated it. I hated Kendra Scott in general. And then
we won't tag them.
We won't tag them. I mean, actually, at them. Like, I don't know. I don't care. I'm kidding. And then after that, I was like, I need a break from event world. I need a break from being, in this space and the glitz and glam. So I went back to the kitchen, and I taught culinary classes for people and did private chefing for 2 years. And that was I met some really cool people. Just, off-season baseball training was really cool to like meet all of those kind of guys who were just learning how to cook for themselves, because there was like a whole program of guys that came through the place I was working at, and they were off-season trainees, because that's, and they train in Arizona for baseball, and all of the injured ones were sent to go do stuff. So they wouldn't get depressed. So they'd be sent to go, after PT, they'd be sent to go learn how to, cook. So they go to cooking class, learn how to do their own nutrition, learn how to it was all paid for by whatever team they played for.
That's interesting.
So one of my friends now, Josh Jung, he plays for Texas Rangers. And he's really successful now. And that was crazy to like see him full circle. He had a shoulder injury when I met him, and now he's like starting. So
yeah, but can he cook?
I hope so.
Did he take one of your classes?
He took quite a few. Yeah.
I'd
find out. I hope he
find out if you can cook.
He might have too much money to cook for himself now. He probably
you never have too much money to cook for yourself.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're bouncing back and forth, like culinary, hospitality, back to culinary and private chef, and now back to hospitality.
Yeah.
Food is at events.
Yeah.
But events are not about food.
Not at all.
The food is an element of this event, and of course, it can set a tone.
Yeah.
It can create an atmosphere. But the food is just a part of the event as a whole once you start adding in all of the other elements to create a complete package. So why do you go from what made you decide to go from just this singular element to the big picture?
Right. Well, I like doing things I'm good at. And so I'm good at chefing, but it wasn't challenging at all. So I was kind of getting into this loop of doing the same thing. And I also have a big passion for making money. And I wasn't really making money. So that needed to change. And Jake was done with wildland firefighting. You know, it really takes a toll on the body. It's, you know, shout out to all of the guys who fight fires out west and anywhere. Like, it's, you know, thank you for your service. Truly, it's an understated service that the U.S. provides that I wish we had more funding to, and I wish that's a whole other passion. I won't get into it. But anyway, so he was done with that, and I was like, why don't we just move across the U.S. and go back to South Carolina? I'm still in touch with Sarah McCall, again, our CEO of SMB. We never lost touch. She's a really close friend now. And I was like, hey, do you happen to need a planner? Like, I'm sick of being here. You know, it's too expensive to live in Arizona, and I don't want to chef anymore. And she was like, hell yeah. So flew out, did an interview, and then like a month or so later, we moved there, and I got a wedding in my first month, and then it just went from there. And I think, you know, I don't see myself going back into the food world. If I did, it would be restauranting and like actually owning a restaurant and managing that. But that's insane. And
that is a ton of work.
I would need a lot of money and a lot of time. But if I were to go,
of those things?
I'm working on it. Hey, you know, it's getting there.
Well,
but
what is the, you know, I understand that, like, the food industry and being a chef is wildly competitive.
Extremely.
And you know, you're putting in your time, you're paying your dues.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to make any actual money.
Yeah.
And then you go to private chef.
Yeah.
But even then, that seems to be difficult. Like, we're not, and depending on where you live, you know, there's some people with money, like if you were doing like in Scottsdale.
That's where I was.
You know,
yeah, exactly.
Or New York, or certain places in Chicago, Los Angeles. Like, but that's gotta be.
I didn't have the right.
You had the connections?
I had the connections. I didn't have the drive for it. I don't think I had the passion for it. I'm a really creative person, and I love the pretty stuff. And I think I was getting to the part of chefing that I needed to get really ugly so I could get to the pretty, and I wasn't willing to do that.
What do you mean by that?
I think there's a certain time that, and a lot of chefs can speak to this too, that you have to go through hell to get to the top, and I didn't want to do that. I liked my little bubble of teaching. I liked my little bubble of private chefing. But if you want to make a name for yourself, you have to start working in from the bottom, put your whole ego to the side, and just try to get into the right restaurant so that you can be a line cook or a freaking dishwasher. And I didn't want to do that, because that's how you make your way up, is starting at a restaurant that's amazing. You just have to get in. Mm-hmm. And then once you're in, you can build your way up. Maybe one day take over as head chef, maybe not. Turnover rates are really fast. And once someone gets an ego about them, they're going to, head chef, they're going to go find another restaurant or work with a restaurateur, and that's how they can make it. And that's not where I saw my path. I didn't have the heart for it. In fact, I cried in the freezer almost like every day towards the end of it, because I was so tired of chefing. And so I was like, I need to transition out of this. I'm not getting like the creative, satisfaction from chefing anymore. So I love to cook. I love to cook for people. It's so satisfying when people like your food, but I couldn't do it at a professional level. I didn't have it in me. If I did, I would have needed a lot more passion for it, for sure, but I didn't have that.
Well, that's okay. I mean,
yeah,
like, people learn about themselves along the way.
Exactly.
And you figure out what you like and what you don't like. And then once you figure out what you like and what you might be good at, or you might not be good at it to start with, but if you enjoy it and you do it enough, you'll get better.
Yes, exactly.
At it. And then you be flexible with your plan.
Yeah.
Because things are going to come your way that you don't expect. A door is going to open. You're going to meet somebody.
Exactly.
And then, or and it may not be so happenstance-ish as that. It may be like you calling your friend up saying, "Hey, this what I'm doing sucks. Do you need a planner?" Like, I'm just gonna make it happen.
Literally.
You know what I mean?
Literally, it was just like, "Hey, I'll miss you. How you doing? Like, remember when I was your intern?" She was like, "Yes, please come back." Like, looking back on it, I didn't really realize that she was almost like grooming me this direction, but she was. We got to be very close during my internship because it was 2020, so we only had so many events. So we spent a lot of time doing behind the scenes stuff, getting ready for fall, hoping that, COVID would die down or whatever. And of course, we're in South Carolina, so it, never really affected too much, but that's neither here nor there.
I'm down with, like,
yeah.
I'm all like, are we free people or are we not?
Yeah, exactly. And so it was like we were just going to keep going, and we got to spend a lot of time together because of that. And she ended up, my last semester of college, she came and visited me in Austin. I was like, this is great. Like, we're friends. Like, this is my boss. She wasn't my boss at that time, but she came and visited me, and she was like, show me around Austin. Wink, wink. Like, don't you think it'd be great to have a franchise here? And I'm like, yes, someone should really do that. But I was so like,
it's not tracking.
It wasn't tracking for me. And I was so like on the route to move away, like move to Arizona. And, she's a really good model for keeping in touch with people, because you never know where it's going to lead. Eventually I came back because we stayed in touch, because we stayed friends. And I came back to her, and, now I have bought a franchise, not in Austin, but in somewhere that feels like what Austin used to be.
Yeah. When you went back into that relationship, employment wise, were you just looking for an escape from culinary, or was it, I want to go back in training with the intent of owning your own branch?
I went back with the intent of, let's see if I can find some sort of passion within this, and let's see if I can make money with this. And I love event planning. I love doing people's weddings and stuff, but I also wanted to find my own route as an entrepreneur of what was going to be my niche, that I could grow this business or grow myself and brand myself into making more money and making more assets and having that, so I can eventually, maybe retire early or start a restaurant. Who knows?
Yeah. When it comes, you're studying in brilliant events, so you don't just strictly do weddings.
Correct.
You do
whatever. Any event you can imagine. I've done private concerts. We did one for Riley Green this past December. We did a private event.
She
Riley
called me for cigars.
I know.
You didn't know I existed.
I didn't.
But you do now.
I do now.
And
I will.
You've seen the party working out.
Yeah.
She's fire.
Yeah. But we've done, we've done private events, concerts. We've, branched out into, that would be S&B Productions now. We have a separate thing, same planners, but it's, marketed differently. Corporate events, birthdays, weddings. I mean, Sarah is a, entrepreneur through and through, and any way she can think to service people and help with our skill set, she will. So even down to like, we offer bridal attendants. And that's literally just people can hire us to be their personal assistant for the day, apart from planning your wedding. You know, because when you're the wedding planner, you're running around, you're talking to vendors, you're checking on this, you're, I don't know, covering a hole with a table, whatever you're doing. And, you know, you're not always with the bride all day. So they can hire a bridal attendant.
So you have someone that is straight up.
I'm carrying her water bottle and a fanny pack full of her lip glosses and powders and fluffing her dress for every single photo and just all around, like, you know, doing that kind of thing. And it might be me doing it. It just depends on the weekend.
Sure.
Yeah. So
it's just whatever they need.
Yeah.
You're like, this is full service, like taking care of our people.
That's an additional fee.
Well, sure. Yeah. It doesn't come in these standard packages.
No.
You know, it's either an add-on or higher package or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So y'all are a full service company for any kind of event that you could imagine.
Yeah.
As a cigar, I run the Cigar Box, a mobile hospitality cigar service. And let's see, so this is year 4 of the Cigar Box existence. I've done enough to kind of understand how the game works, you know, all of the grind, all of the hustle. And then just, I mean, this is not a huge market. This is not Los Angeles. This is not, you know, Miami. This is upstate South Carolina. Yeah. But it is a growing market.
For sure.
But there is no shortage of wedding planners. There's no shortage of event planners. So whenever you decide that you're going to come to the upstate and you're going to launch stunning and brilliant events, do you even care at all about the number of other people that are doing it?
I don't want to sound cocky, but not at all.
Sure.
I think everyone has their own style of doing things. I think our style is, of course, the best. Might be biased, but I'm bringing something different to the table, and clientele is going to either, you know, want that, or they're going to find a relationship in someone else. And I think a lot of finding the right wedding planner does have to do with the personalities. You know, if our personality doesn't mesh well, they might not book me, or they might find, you know, friendship in another person or comfort in another planner that they prefer. Lucky for me, I'm a Gemini, so I can kind of get along with anyone. But all of that said, I don't know, competition wasn't really ever a fear factor for me. It was more logistics stuff of like, holy crap, I'm running my own business now.
Right.
Like, you know, that kind of thing. But even then, we have the best marketing team. We have the best connections. Lucky for me, you know, there's 3 other franchises in the state. So between the 4 of us, because we have Hilton Head, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, and now here, Greenville. So between the 4 of us, we all interlink with vendors and communications and different rental companies. I mean, I'm even trying to get a couple of my rental companies that I loved and worked with in Myrtle to maybe come up here. And so.
Well, I need to jot it down so I don't forget, because we're going to talk about the high-end luxury stuff in a minute. And I have a certain offering from the Cigar Box I want to get up off the ground, and like Hilton Head, Kiowa, like that's a place that I can offer this specific thing. It's not something that people in Pickens are paying for.
What do you mean?
No offense to the people in Pickens. And I'm sure there's somebody in Pickens that's just loaded.
Yeah,
and they don't care.
No, there
But
is.
this it's just
there's more abundance in those locations.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I share your assessment about caring about competition.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this a little bit on the show. You know, when it comes to the cigar service, I was kind of, can I really, there's a couple other guys doing this. Should I go for it? And then, you know, whenever I decided to start a podcast, like there's literally millions of podcasts.
Oh, yeah. We have a podcast. Like everyone has a podcast.
Right. You know, but not everybody's doing it the way you do it. I was a guest on a podcast the other day, and I was telling the gentleman that I think when it comes to a person who has a podcast, it's not so much what you want to talk about. It's not the topic. There are 7 billion plus people in this world. So if you just love to geek out on the Smurfs,
Yeah.
you can find an audience for that.
Yeah.
There are Smurf fans everywhere. It's not the topic. It is, am I making quality content?
Absolutely.
Is what I'm talking about. Do I have skills to talk about it
Yeah.
and make it a good conversation or a good solo show?
Yeah.
So, you know, if you are considering doing something, yeah, you want to think about it for a little bit, but eventually you got to pull the trigger or flush it.
Exactly. And the only way to succeed is to try. So honestly, like when it comes to competition,
Well,
there's enough for all of us.
no, there really is. But here's the other thing I've learned and have come to believe, and you said it, a lot of it is because there's Dallas and 9 other wedding planners in the upstate, and I'm getting married in a year from now, and like you're doing X, she's doing Y, this person's doing Z. But a lot of it is personality.
I agree.
A lot of it is just that connection, that mesh. You feel like this person understands your vision for what you want to accomplish. Or they're amiable, they're good to get along, they're easy to get along with. In business, whether you're selling a product or a service or both, you, I've said it 100 times, are your best product.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, like, talking to people, I always say if I can get someone on the phone, I can get them to book. And that's because I know when I'm talking to someone, I know what they want to hear, and I can hear it in their voice of what, you know, even just a simple question can lead me to understanding what their price range is going to be, can lead me to understanding what their goal is, what their vibe is. If someone's a little quieter on the phone and they're only having 50 guests, I know I probably need to tone it down too, or else she's going to get a little overwhelmed by my big personality. I'll tone it down too. I'll match her. And then, you know, I understand they're having a low-key wedding. We're keeping it chill. We're keeping it, you know, the budget might be $100,000, but they don't want it to be, you know, something loud and flashy. So we kind of have to match that when you talk to people. And some, you know, vendors get into the same routine thing, and that's what they sell. And that's fine, but you have to take on different types of people and try to cater to different types of people so you can build that bigger portfolio. And I'm not just the wedding planner that does classic Southern weddings, or I'm not just the wedding planner that does avant-garde, you know, campy weddings. It's everywhere and everywhere in between. And that's how you sell yourself and get that big portfolio. So.
Yeah. I dislike talking to people on the phone about business. I really do.
Really?
I don't know why. I'm much more comfortable in person.
Oh, yeah. I love an in-person meeting.
You know, I don't. And here's the deal with me. Like, I'm not a salesman.
Okay.
It's against my nature.
Yeah.
You know, here's what I do. Here's what I offer service-wise. Here's the look. I try and build things, and this is the first time I've ever said this statement, but it makes sense. I mean, you've seen the trailer, you're sitting in this room. I try and build things that sell themselves.
Yeah.
Almost, you know.
That trailer is amazing.
Thank you. I didn't really plan it that way.
Yeah.
It just, like, whenever I do something, I've come to learn about myself between building that trailer and building this room. Like, my style leans, like, vintage, very masculine, classy.
Yeah.
But it's just... And so that's hard to portray over the phone.
Yeah.
You can't, like, I want you to see what I've got.
Yeah.
But I'm not a salesman. I don't like doing that crap, man. I'm an honest guy and easy to get along with. Like, let's just have coffee and we'll talk.
Yeah.
Like
it is exhausting sometimes, you know, if I have like back-to-back sales calls, Jake will come home and I'm like, I can't talk. Like, I can't do this. I can't speak. I have no personality left to give. But I don't know, it comes naturally to me to be very extroverted and at least try to be on the phone and talk to people. So, but also with what you're doing, you're selling a service, a really cool service, by the way. Just saying. And you're right. What you put out there is what you're selling. So you don't have to do as much selling. People are going to see that cart and be like, that fits in with what we're trying to portray at our event. And, you know, that kind of does it yourself, because I've never seen that before.
Right.
Like, it's typically I'll say typically with a LY because I don't want to say it's always. But it's typically just a person with a 6-foot table and a linen, and
But you got to start somewhere.
for sure.
That's where I started. I started with
So
an 8-foot
humble.
folding table and a 10x10 pop-up tent. I made
But
it
you
look
worked
nice,
that way. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I had a vision in my head of what I wanted to create.
You had a goal.
By the way, that trailer was not my original plan.
Really?
No, I learned very quickly that I didn't have access to $50,000.
What?
And yeah, I know. To $50,000 to $60,000 to buy a massive trailer and do a complete renovation on it, plus buy the kind of vehicle that can tow this thing.
Mhm.
However, and so my wife's encouragement to me was, just start smaller, but get started.
Yeah.
Just
do
get
it.
started.
Yeah.
And so I did. I just started, and then I started looking around with, instead of complaining about what I don't have,
Mm-hmm.
it was, what do I have?
Yeah.
And what can I do with it? And I came up with that. And by the way, I mean, I've said this in past episodes, but I think that's better, to be honest, than a 26-foot fully renovated Airstream.
Yeah. And
I
it's
can-
easier to get to a lot of venues around here.
You can't put a huge trailer
You
in
can't-
certain places. I can put all
you can
that.
put that anywhere.
All that requires is the size of a parking space.
Yeah.
It photographs well,
Mhm.
especially when the sun's going down or it's
Mhm.
dark.
All about the photos.
And at a wedding, and here's what I've learned: at any event, doesn't matter what kind it is, whether it's a private concert with Riley Green, whether it is a shout out to Riley Green,
Shout out to Riley
I'm
Green.
gonna tag her. I'm gonna write her down. Or a wedding, a private concert, a corporate event, a barbecue festival. People are not going in your trailer to sit down and for an hour
No.
have a cigar.
Mhm.
Mine is, this is really awesome. I'm gonna grab a cigar, line up, and I'm on to see my friend.
Yeah, I
or
mean, you're
to
at an
see-
event, so it should be an experience.
Yeah.
And then it's all about going back to the party. Sorry, I touched the mic. Back to the party and, enjoying what you're here for. So,
Yeah. So the trailer allows for that. It's just a quick pit stop to
Yeah.
grab a smoke, and then
It's
you're
so
on your
cool.
way. Yeah.
I can't wait to use it.
Well, I can't wait for you to use it.
I'm excited.
Yeah. We live in a society today that throws around these buzzwords,
hmm
luxury and high end.
Yeah.
We just say it all the time,
Yeah.
So as the owner of stunning and brilliant events, who honestly, like, if you're doing stuff in Hilton Head and other certain places, and even there's swanky places here in the upstate,
Yeah.
there's no doubt.
Very.
Like, to you and what you do, what does luxury actually mean?
I think luxury is not something that you're putting out for everyone to see. It doesn't necessarily mean, like I said, doesn't necessarily mean something very avant-garde and campy and different every single time. It's the service I'm providing to you. So it could be any budget, any scale. I'm going to give you a luxury service. It's going to be to a next level. I'm not just, the lady at the church who sent your mom down the aisle. I'm going to be, taking on all of the stress that you may have on wedding day a month in advance at least, because I only do month of I don't do day of stuff. I only do month of packages. And then, month of partial and full. And, we take on all of the vendor communication, all of the scheduling, even down to, I'll schedule your spa appointment. All of that communication. In addition to that, we're making sure we have all of your personal items in advance. You don't even have to think about putting out the guest book. You don't even have to think about a pin. I'll bring a pin for your guest book. Little stuff like that, you're not even going to know about because we handle it before it's even a question. So that level of service you would think is a given. But as I've worked in different cities and different states, you learn that it's not always the standard. It's not, the SMB way is not normal for most. We've had clients come from other planners who have, you've transferred over to us and told us the exact same thing. And there's just a different level of urgency that we have, and we're providing this luxury no matter what your budget is, no matter what your, vision is. It's going to be the same from us no matter what.
Yeah, because there's luxury in practice.
Mm-hmm.
Let me rephrase that. Yeah, there's luxury in service,
Mm-hmm.
but then there's luxury in aesthetic.
Yeah, that's where we have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but is that how you feel like, because you said, I'm not going to get it exactly right, but you said here in the upstate that you're bringing something like a different level of service, or
Yeah.
and you probably just covered some of it. And not like, what are you doing that you believe kind of separates you from the pack?
I really do think it's urgency. I think it's the fact that this is my full-time job. This is my passion project. This is my life. It's not just something I do on the side, something I only do on the weekends. This is my full-time job. I sit down every morning at 9 a.m. and I get on my emails and I'm balancing all of my clients. I'm setting up meetings to meet with all of, each of them in wherever object they need me, whether it's, they want me to sit down with them and go to their tasting and just sit there and take notes and give advice, or if it's full design, services, and I'm making a very detailed layout with ideas that I've pulled from everywhere, from Pinterest to Party Slate to all of these resources I have. And then even down to what we provide internally for our clients. So like we provide access to Aisle Planner, which is like a third-party system that we can use to keep all of our contracts there. You, your mom, your dad, anyone involved in planning can have access to it. We keep our notes in there, everything. So you can always, re-go to that. We provide room blocks. We'll do room blocks for you. It's just the full effect of taking anything that you can think of in planning that sounds stressful, and then things that you don't think of that we know because we do it every weekend, that we bring to the table of, well, have you thought about insurance because you're getting married during hurricane season? Have you thought about insurance for, I don't know, cancellation? Have you thought about little things like, I don't know, wedding dress service like we were talking about earlier? If you have a giant dress and a giant wedding party and you need help with that. So yeah.
Quick aside, as a wedding planner, I'm curious, my wife loves to sit and watch the show Say Yes to.
Yes.
Are you a fan?
Of course. Yeah. I haven't watched it in forever. Didn't even know they were still making them. But as a kid, I watched it.
I don't know that they are. She might just be watching because it's on Amazon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm sitting over here, I'm working on the podcast, and I hear so are you going to say yes to the dress?
Yeah. I love that show.
So give me the rundown. Let's not pretend. Let's just manifest it. Some engaged guy who smokes cigars is going to watch this episode, and he's going to say, hey, babe, you need to get in touch with Dallas Vickers because she does. So we're manifesting. We're putting it out into the universe right now. Give me the rundown. Jane Doe calls you up, said, hey, I saw you on Sunday Afternoon Smokes podcast. You first point of contact. What's it look like? And she eventually hires you.
Right. Okay.
What does it look like the rest of the way?
Yeah, we start with an onboarding call right away. So that's where we bring them on a Zoom call, and I go through a whole slideshow of what planning looks like. So I provide them with next steps. I get them logged into Aisle Planner like I was talking about. We talk about my hours, communication style, what's next, what else is possible in event planning, and just give them an overview of what's about to happen, because it's very overwhelming in the beginning. And even if you already have all your vendors on board, you already have everything you think you need, you still want to know the plan for the planner. You want to know how you're going to be interacting. Even down to I had a month of client reach out and they were like, so when do you come on board? And I'm like, a month prior. I'll come on, we'll have a meeting, we'll meet up and we'll go through everything. I'll get all your contracts from you and all of that. So anyway, we'll start with that. Immediately after that, I send them a questionnaire They fill that out, and it's just kind of a broad questionnaire. Time, what time do you want your ceremony? What time do you want to theoretically start reception? That kind of thing. What are your favorite colors? What do you have any vendors on board already? So I can get in contact with them, and then I'll make a day of timeline. So that's day of timeline and layout, or actually day of timeline and design board are two of the first things I'll do. Day of timeline kind of is just a short version of my giant weekend timeline, and it really just literally goes through the day of and how I see it. It's usually covered in red highlight because I need to know all of the little notes. How many makeup services are you going to have so that I can do the math of when you need to start? Who's bringing breakfast to you? What time are the guys going to get ready together, or do I need to make sure they need to meet here so they can all ride together to the venue, or are they going to be at the venue? So little questions like that are all in red. We have a meeting to go through all of that. Design board based on, it could be based on their Pinterest board. It could be based on one photo they took at their cousin's wedding 2 years ago. And then I'll kind of just elaborate from that and use my creativity. That's one thing. And then moving forward from that, we start, let's say Jane Doe hired me for full planning. I'll get their insurance covered. I'll get their liability insurance. I'll get their cancellation insurance. I'll start on their room blocks. It just soars from there. So meetings, touching base, making sure everything's perfect, inquiring with you for cigars, saying, hey, this time, this place, what's the price?
Yeah.
Sending that to them. They
Sure.
pay you, and then it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, you said full month and partial month, meaning somebody calls you up and says, what's today? April. Let's just say somebody says to you, I'm getting married in July of 27.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Call me back in June of 27. Like, what does that mean?
So
Like,
they can hire me at any point. But full planning, partial planning, and month of planning all just are broad ways of saying this is how many hours of planning you have with me. So full planning would be up to 120 hours. And so we could come on a year in advance and just start planning throughout the year. I've had brides come on and we plan she might be full planning, but we use like 100 hours in the first 3-4 months, get everything done. And we leave those last 20 hours for little stuff throughout the rest of the year,
right.
Month of, of course,
Okay.
day of, I'm there setting up days prior, and then of course day of the wedding I'm there. Partial planning is very similar to full, but it's only 80 hours of planning, so it's more of a give and take. I might give them, I like to call it homework, but I'll email them and I'll say, okay, this week reach out to these 3 hair and makeup people that I think you'd really get along with and like. While you're doing that, I'm gonna work on this. And it's a little bit of a give and take, whereas full planning, they're not ever going to get homework unless it's give me your seating chart or whatever, things I can't do.
Yeah.
And then month of is really just we come on a month prior. So they could hire me in June, but they're not getting married till October. Well, I'm not going to start talking to them until September.
Gotcha.
So we'll still do an onboarding call. They'll get the next steps. They'll get all the resources, my creative partners list, my perks page, all of that fun stuff where you're listed. And then a month prior, we'll start our meetings, get our timeline and layout and all of that together. So It really just depends on what they want.
Do you get many inquiries for cigars?
It's more of an idea I put in other people's heads.
I like that.
Yeah. It's more of like what can we do with our...
Yeah.
I want something for my guests. Do you have any ideas?
Well, it's
one of my first ones.
It's not just that for my guests. Like, and I understand weddings are a big day and the bride gets all the glory and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but the groom, he's half of the show.
Yeah.
Like, let's have something for the groom and the groomsmen.
I can't tell you how many times I've had a cigar roller as a surprise for the groom. It's almost always
and
that.
It's great for father of the bride.
Yeah.
And I try and with the cigar box communicate with my clients about that. Like, I ask questions ahead of time because I want to know, do you have any certain cigars that you prefer? Things that you like that I can get a hold of, things that you dislike that I can avoid.
Yeah.
Like, do you
send out like a questionnaire, or do you just chat with them?
I usually just chat with them via email, back and forth to find out what they are. But I usually try and find some pertinent information. I have a friend locally who does a lot of leather work. And I try and have a special gift made for the bride.
That's
and
awesome.
groom. Like I did a wedding
I'll
a
need
while
their
back,
contact.
and I had,
I want their contact.
yeah, I'll hook you up. He does all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
James from Moultrie Leather Goods. He
Mhm.
does, he does hats and hoodies and t-shirts.
Oh,
But he
cool.
makes all like the leather work. Like that cutter, that V cutter right there.
Mhm.
He'll make I'll sell those, and he'll make a custom leather case
Wow,
for you to hold
yeah.
it in. But so I had a cigar case made that holds 2 cigars,
Mhm.
and I put the bride and the groom's initials on it and
That's
the
so
date of
cool.
the wedding, and that was a gift from me to them on
Yeah.
that day. And so I just try as a vendor to I'm not just for your wedding. I'm not just showing up
Yeah.
and, well, here's the cigars,
Mhm.
enjoy them. Like, I want to try and do my part
Yeah.
to make your day as special as it can be.
That's what
And
it's really
have
about. Yeah.
something for you. And that's not even to talk about, like, obviously what I know about cigars and guiding and helping people make the proper selection
Mhm.
for what they want. Just like I was asking your husband, like,
Mhm.
he hadn't smoked in a while. You drink coffee.
Yeah.
And that's going to help me understand what cigar that you need. So
Yeah. Very personal.
I want to try and not just be there, but to contribute in
Yeah.
a meaningful way. But speaking to you from the vendor side, I don't want to just be, you know, one pamphlet in a stack of 50 pamphlets
Mhm.
that you've got, hoping, and you're just listening to them talk, and they're saying you're only pulling out things that they mention
Yeah.
versus having somebody that's proactive because they think that your service is great.
Yeah.
Of course, your service needs to be great
Yeah.
in order but like in a partnership between a planner and a vendor,
Mhm.
like, it is my goal to be your go-to
Exactly.
cigar person.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way, and relationships are everything. Like, I love my brides, I love my grooms, I adore them. A lot of them stay friends, but at the end of the day, they get married once. I work with my vendors every weekend. So my relationships with my vendors are extremely important, and I'll always advocate for them, and those relationships move on a lot further than post-wedding. So standing out like that and kind of having that, even just the leather thing you were just talking about, like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the kind of service that's luxury. So
It is. It is. I mean, and I can do all kinds of stuff with that
Yeah.
guy. Like, I can, whether it's a cigar, a holder for cigars for the groom, or
Yeah.
if the bride smokes too, or even do something for the father of the bride, or I can have him make some nice, like, leather coasters for your house.
Yeah, it's just that little thing.
It's the
Mhm.
small touches,
Yeah.
that really,
It's always keeping them in mind. This past weekend, we had a lot of rain on Saturday. And something we like to do if it's a rain wedding, we always set out a glass or something to catch that rainwater. It's an old wives' tale. The rainwater on your wedding day, if you have a rainy wedding, you can use that rainwater to baptize your first child in. So we always make sure to do that.
Huh.
And it's something that's really touching to my clients, of course. And it's just like little things. Sending them home with food because they typically don't eat on wedding days. So making sure all of their items are together at the end of the night, from veil to shoes to, bags going to the hotel, are all together and in the correct car before they even leave. You didn't see me pick up the table number, but they're together and they're with you. And those little things are just services that make it feel luxury, even though it's like, this is my job. This is the minimum, So,
right.
yeah.
So, how are you? I mean, I was going to ask how you're approaching events.
Mm-hmm.
Weddings are, while they have wild variations, they all follow pretty much the same protocol.
Yeah, yeah.
But events, like for corporate or whatever,
Yeah.
seems to be a different animal.
It is.
So I don't know if you can give me a nice boxed answer on your approach to.
I just have to remember there's no emotion. It's all transactional, and the events for corporate are typically for a very specific reason. So and you're working with very random corporate companies. Like last year I worked with Canfor, which is a lumber company. I didn't know who they were. My husband knew them right away because he has a degree in forestry. So he was like, yeah, I know about them. That's how he talks, by the way. So I worked with them, and they are owned by the same CEO that owns Ripley's Aquarium. So at this point, this was 2 years ago now, and this was in Myrtle Beach. And we had the people from Can4 reach out. You know, at that point, Sarah's my boss. So she was like, you're available. Can you take this event? I do the sales call. We get on board. We get started. Another girl in the office gets a call from Ripley's Aquarium. Well, they're doing multiple events in the area for the CEO that's coming in from Canada that owns all these different companies, and they're competing with each other. So we're like competing in this corporate world to have the best event for their higher ups, for their investors, for all of these people that are involved in multiple companies, not just Ripley's, not just Can4, not just, there's like 2 others that this insanely wealthy guy owns, like otherworldly, you know, Johnson & Johnson level wealth. Crazy. And by the way, he was like 100 years old, and everyone got on their knees when he came in. It was crazy. I was like, this guy, he like threw a hacky sack for bags. He was playing bags, and he like threw a sandbag, and everyone cheered. I was like, he's barely alive. Is he okay? Who's the next? Anyway, I'm getting overboard, but corporate companies are always, there's no emotion in there. It's like, this is our budget. You have to stick to it, and you have to make it happen. And we're also going to pay you this, and you have to pay everyone, because we don't want to deal with all those quotes coming in, and we don't want to deal with that. And we also want something different than what anyone else has had. They always think that that's the case. But like bringing something different to corporate, I think it's kind of where doing weddings is beneficial. I can bring in ideas that they won't get from corporate planners. If we're in the corporate world, you're going to see the same things. You know, you're going to have the dinner, the ball, the themed 80s like night, whatever. And, you know, when they're working with us, we can come in with, well, have you ever heard of having a cigar roller at your event? And you're like, oh, no, I haven't thought about that. Have you ever heard of having a live artist painting people's outfits at your cool themed event? No, I haven't thought about that. So, you know, we can bring in some cooler elements to these, what are pretty stereotypical corporate parties. And that's fun because they're always like excited for that. So
Corporate can be boring.
It can be very
even though
boring.
It's a party.
Yeah.
It can be droll. Like we're here, the music's playing.
It's the same 5 steps.
Food,
yeah.
gives a speech.
You've been together for a week doing some sort of BS training. Like
I'm doing a trust fall.
Yeah.
Catch me. And
exactly. Yeah. It's 5 steps of leadership. So yeah.
Yeah. The top 7 habits of highly people, Franklin Covey, all this stuff.
Has everyone read Richest Man in Babylon? That's the first requirement. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see, like, it's, do you see the corporates as a challenge for you to be creative?
Yes, there's a lot more restriction, and there's a lot of, this has to be approved. I mean, here's a bone I have to pick with corporate. You know this event is going to happen. Why are you hiring me a month out? And you also need a month to approve everything. It's always 1 month away. They're like, hey, we're having a 500-person event. It's next month, and we need all of this done. So I'm like, okay, I can make it happen. Make it happen. Okay, well, we need to get all of it approved. 2 weeks go by. They still haven't approved it. I'm on their asses. I need to pay vendors. I need to get this secured, blah, blah, every single time. I've had a few that were like smaller corporate, so like apartment openings, grand openings, that kind of thing, more internal. But if it's on a larger scale, it's like you've got to go through 20 people to get one thing approved.
I don't understand that.
It's
like,
crazy.
You don't run your business that way at large.
I don't know if they do. It's crazy. I mean,
well, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they have to propose it. I think but I think a lot of times it's their event. The person who's hired for doing their events hires a third-party person, which would be me. So they have to like put it into my stuff, into their system, and then get it approved by their higher ups. Yes, yeah. Whatever. Present it to multiple people.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, they start like I'm a small time guy, and I started a couple of things, and I shared with y'all before we started recording about another business. Like I'm a small time guy, and I don't care about that, but I've learned enough to know that, like, I could just be a consultant to major corporations on future planning. Like, what is your freaking problem?
No, sometimes I like look back and I'm like, what's your job,
like,
man?
You guys are so worried about your bottom line and doing well in the stock market that you're like screwing these planners for your swanky events. Like, what are you doing?
No, it's true. And also, this is an event y'all have every year, and you're telling me you couldn't have reached out to me at least 5 months in advance?
Yeah.
But a lot of our corporate companies are great. Some of them are not so much.
Yeah.
Or they turn out great, but there's like 20 steps to get there. So,
So let's talk about expensive versus high end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're the same thing.
No.
Would you describe this room as high end? Be honest.
I would. I mean, it gives the right vibes for what you're selling.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had to take a stab at how much I paid to do this, well, take a stab.
Did you do it? You did it yourself, right?
I did everything myself except for the venting of the portable AC and the exhaust fan. Everything else.
Are we just guessing design or
no,
guessing like, the whole thing?
All the painting. Don't look too close to my paint lines. I'm not a professional painter, but all the priming, all the painting, the wallpaper, the sconces, the sign, the slat wall, the chairs, the rug, everything that is in this room. I designed it.
Yeah.
I put it together.
Okay. At least $7,000?
Okay. No.
7 to 10? Lower. 3?
4.5.
Okay. Damn. That's awesome.
Yeah. You can make something look really great without having to spend a ton of money.
You can.
Do you run into this problem with brides and grooms?
Yes. And I wish people took our advice more because, like I said, we do this every weekend. We know where you should be, where you can save and where you can spend. And I'm never going to put you in a situation where you are spending more than you should in certain areas. However, and I was thinking about this whenever you put this question on my pre-questionnaire, I was like, this is frustrating. Sometimes all the time, I really do think, and not just because I am a wedding planner, but I really do think that the first person you should hire is a wedding planner. Because if you have an overall budget that you're trying to stick to or a goal investment that you're trying to stick to, it's best to start with us so that we can lead you there. It's always the band that sets you back, always. I have had so many clients who the very first thing they do, they get engaged, they get their venue, that's fine.
I was going to ask, is the venue the first purchase?
Typically, yeah. And I'm fine with that. Venue is great. If that's where you want to spend your money, venue really is where you can invest. I would absolutely say that. The next thing you hire should not be a freaking band because a lot of the time, what you want for your band, you've probably seen at another person's wedding, and you don't know what that budget of that person's wedding was. All of a sudden, the band is $15,000, and you think that it's the best thing you should spend your money on. Well, that gives you $5,000 less for your florals that your friend also spent $20,000 on, but you didn't know that. So if band is really, really important to you, that's awesome. Go ahead, spend that money. However, if you also want to have the wedding that goes with a $15,000 band, you have to think about that. So I can give you an equally amazing band for $10,000 for $3,000 for way less, and still you can have the rest of your fantasy wedding without spending all your money on one thing. Same with catering. There's a lot of caterers out there, amazing caterers, but you don't need to have 3 red meat options. You're losing money. You can do seafood, steak, pasta, whatever, or you don't need to have a plated dinner. We can do stations. We could do, heavy appetizers and then a light plate or whatever. There's things that we can suggest, being in the profession and knowing where money needs to be spent and knowing our expert advice, our luxury advice that I would really love for people to start thinking that. And I think wedding planners are so new in relation to other vendors in the wedding world that it's not thought of to be the first thing. But nowadays, with how expensive weddings cost and how elevated weddings are nowadays and the expectations, I really do think that having a wedding planner first and foremost can help you the most.
Yeah.
Like, truly. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to stay in a certain range. But also,
I mean, the finances can get out of control fast.
It gets crazy.
Crazy fast.
Yeah.
Like,
and I've had people like, these rentals are so expensive. I'm like, girl, you have to have tables, but what you don't have to have is a 20-person band. Don't get me started.
So what are the little touches that make a wedding or an event, and maybe there's no clean answer for this, I don't know, but that make it appear to be high-end / luxury, but it's on a budget?
I think knowing your limits when it comes to guests can lead you everywhere. And I know that doesn't really make sense, but let me explain. If you want to have a really high-end or luxury-looking wedding, but you're on a lower budget, consider your guest list. If you want to have 200 people at your event, there is absolutely no way to stretch that $30K from daddy. Like, that's catering for 200 people is $30K, But if you can lower that guest list for you down to 50, 70 people, then we can talk about having this beautiful, amazing wedding. And I think that what I mean by that is having really lovely florals, having really intentional experiences, having things that are personal to you, specialty linens that are different from what you saw at Jane Doe's wedding, little things that make it very personal to you, or what makes it luxury to your guests. Because they're like, oh, that cake is the same, I don't know, we've had sweet potato cake, for example. My clients love that because they had it at their birthdays growing up, and then at their every special event they've had, then their guests notice, like, oh, we've had that for every birthday she's ever had has always been this cake, and that kind of thing.
So
it's like,
cake?
I love it.
Have you had the one from Brick Street?
Yeah, I had it 2 nights ago. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh gosh!
I brought home a slice on a paper plate for him to try.
God, I would have ate the paper plate it was on.
So good.
It's so good.
It's stupid. It's so good. But yeah, I've literally had a client say that exact thing. And for your guests, that's
totally interrupted you.
No, you're so fun. I mean, sweet potato cake is.
Sweet potato cake is good, but like the one specifically from Brick Street will just blow your freaking mind.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
If you haven't had it,
I need to bring
it's
Brick
worth
Street
the
on
trip.
the podcast.
You should.
So anyway, we were talking about, like, in my eyes, just kind of went buggy a little bit when you're like, $30K from daddy is just like food for 200 guests.
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
Depending on your
standards, yes.
Like, my wife, she's very budget conscious, and like, I forget how much we spent on our wedding, like $7,500. But
yeah.
We didn't have a ton, and we did what we could, and we had a lot of friends that had talents that wanted to pitch in, and like, I grilled all the chicken for our wedding.
See, and that's yeah.
And we just had like a taco bar, and I had a friend that I was working with. He did the DJ work, brought all the speakers. And it's like, look, if you don't have $35,000 to spend, doesn't mean you can't get married.
No, you just have to have different expectations.
Right.
And different goals. And, that's where we can be real. And some people don't want to hear it. And some people really, really cherish that of like, thank you for letting me know that is how, we go. I mean, people don't know how much it costs. My parents don't know, like, $30,000 back when my sister got married in 2000 whatever, what is $100,000 now? You know what I mean? Currency has changed so much in the wedding world.
Well, I'm sure my parents, and I don't know how old you are. I'm not going to ask because that's one of the rules when it comes to men and women. But my parents are. My dad's 76. I'm 46. They would choke to death on how much people are spending on weddings today.
Oh, they choke out how much, like, yeah, it's crazy. They're like, how much was florals? Well, I mean, I've had 6-figure floral orders alone.
My dad, I was at Bass Pro Shop a few weeks ago, and I sent him a picture of this bass boat, And it was like branding was like 45 grand.
Mm-hmm.
And he texted back and said, that's more than I spent on my first house.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what
It's
in the world
crazy.
has happened?
It's crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
So do you find yourself, I mean, I would presume that you are, your job is to do the best you can to bring a bride's vision into alignment with the realities of her budget.
Yeah. And we never come out, we don't jump the gun with what's your budget. You know, we feel it out. And that's something that happens in the inquiry call, and that's something that happens throughout planning. We never ask what the budget is, but depending on, you know, what, if someone's budget conscious, they're gonna make sure that you know, typically, which is great because then I know my limits. And then some people don't like to talk about money. That's a Southern thing. You don't want to talk about money. And they might not know how much they want to spend. They really might not. But then all of a sudden we're halfway through planning and now they're mad at me because they don't want to spend what they approved. And I'm like, well, you didn't tell me. You never gave me a budget, and everything I've sent you, you've said yes to. And now you're like, oh crap, this costs a lot of money. Yeah, girl, it costs a lot of money. You have good taste. Like,
sure.
Yeah. So people, you know, I'm not going to straight up ask because we are in the South and because it
Do you feel like you should though? Would you ask if you were in Scottsdale?
No.
Would you have to ask?
No. I can feel it out. I promise.
Yeah, sure. Where do brides and grooms shoot themselves in the foot?
Guest count, like I was saying earlier. I think guest count and, well, there's plenty of places they can shoot themselves in the foot, actually. Just depends on where we go with this.
Well, I don't know. You're the planner. I mean, you know, obviously guest count, because guest count dictates like I need
everything.
20 tables, but all of a sudden now I need 60, and that's more chairs and it's more tables and it's more
45 people versus I need alcohol for
Right.
200 people. I mean, that's expensive. Food is expensive. Rentals, of course, the pretty stuff, that's extra. But the main necessities, that's where it can get crazy for guest count. The other place I think that clients shoot themselves in the foot is maybe trying to cut somewhere and using, you know, a friend or a family member to do things that a professional should be doing. I don't want your uncle.
What?
I don't.
You're about to say, I don't want your uncle what?
I don't want your uncle doing catering for 200 people while he's also a guest. Sorry.
You mean you don't want Uncle Cletus showing up in overalls
I've had
and
Uncle Cletus come
no
bring
shirt underneath, and he's like, you know, cooking alligator
and
tail.
I'm like, Uncle Cletus, do you have a contract? How long are you supposed to be? Do you have servers? Is someone going to be cleaning up? Are you bringing trash cans? I don't clean up. I don't clean up unless I'm hired to. You know, like it needs to be professional.
Yeah.
For working at a venue that has certain requirements, those vendors have to match those requirements too.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think cutting corners where you don't have to, or where you shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You should listen to the advice of your planner or...
Right. By the way, gator tail is very good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not trashing gator.
No, it's delicious. Tastes like chicken.
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean...
That and frog legs.
Frog legs are chicken.
It is chicken. And everyone should know.
Yeah, it's wild how much a frog leg is a chicken wing.
It is. It's dark meat chicken.
It's crazy. It's
so
good.
It is. Yeah.
So they shoot themselves by hiring out to friends and family that things that are professional
or just
really should do.
Not having, I run into this a lot with my month ofs, and that's totally fine. They want to do everything themselves, but you know, that vendor is $1,000 cheaper than the other for a reason. Like, they're not going to give the same service, and there's certain places that you should really expect that service with bartending, with catering, with musicians, anything. You know, you want them to have that full circle, let me read the contract before we sign it kind of thing. And that's where I come in. Every single contract that we get, if it's full planning or partial planning, any contract, before you sign it, I'm going to read it and make sure that they have the requirements they need, even down to liability insurance. You know, I don't want a random person coming onto your $1,000 venue who has all these rules and they don't have liability insurance, but the venue requires it, and they're also not approved, and they've also, you know, they have horrible reviews online, or I've worked with them before, and I wish you had asked me before you hired them on. Like, there's a certain music group that is all through South Carolina, North Carolina. I think they're even in Georgia. And they have musicians that they're not set bands. They just come on. They don't know who they're going to work with. They just like go to the event and meet each other that day. Full on bands, full on, violinists, any like ceremony music. They don't know each other. They've never practiced together. They just are sent to the same event. Well, that means that they haven't practiced the songs together.
It can be difficult. I mean, if they're good enough, but like at your wedding, it shouldn't just be good enough.
Mm-hmm. It should be your wedding. It should be up to quality. So,
yeah. Where can brides and grooms get the most bang for their buck?
Where? Like what, in what vendor world, or like what?
No. Like on where should they spend on whatever elements of their wedding that is the best value? Does that make sense?
I could be biased, but I think food and alcohol are what people remember the most. Was your bar fast? Did you have enough bars? Were your bartenders making good drinks? Was the food, coming out on time? Was it hot? Yeah.
Jeez, how many people are happy?
I mean, if you have a 200-person wedding, you need at least 2 bars, or else there's going to be a line to the dance floor, and you don't want that. You want people to remember a fun time, and to have that fun time and that seamless feeling, you have to have the right vendors for each of them.
Yeah.
So I think don't skimp on the right people. Like get a good bar, get good catering.
So those things move the needle as far as like it's memorable.
Yeah.
Like you said, we can't have just this long line.
Yes.
Of people waiting for food.
That goes into vendor to guest experience is quality. So guest experience is commonly grouped into things like having cigar rollers, having, the hat makers, or all, these cool things that are being used now as like another vendor or another experience for people. But I think a lot of the guest experience starts with the basics. Is everyone getting an appetizer? Is it going out enough times? Are they hot? Are your drinks poured nicely? Is the ice melted by the time you get it? Is your champagne warm once they're serving it after? Is there champagne waiting for you after? Those little things. That's what guests remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have clients coming to me that are like, I was at my friend's wedding last weekend, and, they had, they had chocolate bars so that you could find where your seat is. But my chocolate bar was melted when I touched it, and now I don't know where my seat is. I'm like, yes, someone probably should have advised your friends to not do that when you live in South Carolina and your wedding's in April. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you go like, because I think I remember reading a wedding planner's website at one point in time in the not too distant past. Like they do like full service to, we will, not only do we take care of the wedding, but we help get your accommodations all set up for your honeymoon.
Yeah, we can do that. We work with a travel agency for honeymoon planning. So we have really great contacts. Shout out to Caroline. She's awesome, and she'll plan everything for your honeymoon.
What's the name? Well, we want to tag Caroline in this, so
yeah, I'll have to
get it to me after.
Yeah,
we'll find it after the show
for sure.
Yeah, I'll write it down. No, that's really cool. Let's take a quick break.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna refill my empty glass.
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, we're back. I've refilled. We went from Sagamore to Redbreast 12-year Irish whiskey. So that was a clean stopping point. But now I want to lay on you, because earlier when I want to lay this on you, man. I was talking about Hilton Head, Kiwa. So I have two service packages with the cigar box. And then I have on the website, it's called Cigar Box Black Label. And it's one of those inquire for pricing kind of things, right? And with my regular service package, I show up, it includes a certain number of hours, certain number of cigars, on-site service. I'll cut for you, I'll light for you, I'll help you make the cigar selection. Black Label, though, it's really for like black tie events, high-end galas.
Yeah.
People with deep pockets that are throwing a fancy soiree at their estate. And that's an event where I would meet ahead of time with the person either organizing the event or the host themselves. I want you to tell me about your evening. What are you planning? What vibe are you trying to accomplish?
It's really cool.
You've seen the trailer, and so in that 100-cigar window, I might have 30 or 40 different cigars.
Yeah.
But for the Black Label, after I find out about all your event, what you're trying to accomplish, what's your bar service, what are they serving, we're going to curate 5 cigars for the night. It's a 5-cigar list.
That's really cool.
We are going to custom print a cigar menu that can be set out at every table with suggested drink pairing for the night. Myself and my assistant show up in formal butler attire.
Yeah.
White glove service. We will swap out that cutter and our lighters for higher end material. I will not sell hoodies and hats and branded merch out of the back because you don't do that at those kinds of events. I'll have a few. I'll probably have a selection of a very few higher end pieces where they're there to look at, and if you'd like to order one, I can take care of that for you.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's theater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, so that's Cigar Box Black Label.
I mean, would you be willing to go more places than Hilton Head? Because our Charleston, I mean, we get...
Hilton Head, Charleston.
I know Myrtle Beach, that's our location, but we really were working in Georgetown, Merle's Inlet, like those places, and they are...
I'm...
$1.
If they can foot the bill for Black Label, I'm there.
Yeah.
And so it is and I've not publicized any of this anywhere before. It's just on the website. And I was talking with you before the show about how difficult it is to make inroads with event planners. And so I'm super happy to have this conversation with you, not just for the podcast itself, but, it's just a good relationship for me.
Yeah.
And so there it is out to the world now on the podcast about what Cigar Box Black Label is.
Yeah.
It's a very formal, high-end, top-shelf service that it's just not something you find.
That is so cool to have it paired with what they're serving for the night. And also just having that quality there, like that is people are gonna love that.
So it's just and when I and my assistants show up, we have studied the menu. We know what these cigars are, and we will be able to talk about flavor profiles, country of origin, wrapper, binder,
oh my God,
filler. That.
People are gonna love this.
Yeah, what I smoked was the Rocky Patel Decade. They leave it mysterious. It was a 10-year celebration. It's a Sumatra wrapper, but they don't tell you binder and filler. But we'll know all that stuff. But I don't want to just know that. What I want to know ahead of time, we won't memorize everybody on the list. But what my goal is when I talk to the host, or if you're the planner, who are the VIPs that we need to know their face and their name when they walk up? And because I want to do my homework several weeks in advance and not just learn this guy's face and name and what he does. I want to stalk his social media so that when he walks up to my trailer, I get to say, Mr. Johnson, it's so nice to meet you. How was your fishing trip to Cabo this last summer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's like Michelin level service.
Yes. That is what Black Label is bringing. You're like, anybody can go out and buy a box of cigars.
Right.
But I'm not at that level. I'm not selling cigars.
Yeah.
I am offering you an experience.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
So hopefully
really
Stunning and
cool.
Brilliant Events can use that.
We will. Will you go to Charlotte and Atlanta? Because we also have Charlotte and Atlanta
I will
locations.
go where the money is appropriate.
I mean, then we have 17 places you can go. No, I'll definitely blast you to all of us. You know, we are all in close contact all the time. So
Yeah.
I'll email all my girls about you.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
So for you as an event planner, and I don't know that you have one, but who are your ideal clients?
In like a dream world, dream. In my dream world, I'd love to get to the point where I just have a lot of clients that are very trusting in my creativity. I think it's really fun every time I get a client that's like, these are my favorite colors. I don't care what you come up with. I just want to see ideas. I want to see something I've never seen before. I want to see something that, you know, celebrity level or just really cool, you know, bespoke style creativity in weddings. I think it's so cool. I want that so bad to get to that level. Or even a dream clientele would be, you know, and on the corporate side would be some sort of like music festival or large gala. Like, you know, I'd love to get in on how people work together for like something like the Met Gala. Because when I'm watching any Grammys or the Met Gala or anything like that, I'm looking at centerpieces, I'm looking at the florals, I'm looking at people behind the scenes that are like on mics telling who's going next. And just in the little bit that I've gotten to work with a corporate level or even a production level. So we recently worked with Bravo for an event in Atlanta, and just seeing that side of things was so crazy. I mean, it's always really cool to experience people that are really good at what they're doing and really interested in what they're doing. But that was to a level of like, even the lighting guy was so passionate about his work. You know, like it had to be perfect. And what he's doing affects 30 other people.
Yeah.
So like seeing it on that production level was really cool, and seeing where we can be in on that zone was interesting too, because when we were standing there watching all of them work together, we were thinking we could make this communication better. We could make every single event or every single filming that you guys do, we know how to make it better and more seamless so that you guys aren't doing whatever the hell you're doing for 3 hours. Like,
right.
And that's where our brains went. And it's like, how can we sell that? So that would be really cool to just be on that level of production and seeing what that takes. I don't know if I'd like it, but I'd want to do it. Or
Yeah,
at least
give it a
know what
shot.
it is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You made it very clear at the beginning of the episode that, you know, you enjoy making money.
I love making money.
Yeah.
Can't get mad at money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More events equals more money.
Right.
However, do you want to do more events or better events?
I think eventually I'd really just love to do larger events more sporadically. However, the best way for me to grow my company is bringing in more leads. So training people to be the S&B standard.
That's hard.
And then they work with it. Well, I train a lot of people that come in. I actually
what
do
I'm just saying is like
but it is hard to do to replicate. But I think that's where, you know, a lot of you have to learn how other people work, and once they know the standard, they're either in or they're out, and that takes trial and error. But growing the company, you know, I can step away from doing, you know, I don't know, weddings or whatever, and focus more on the production side or whatever, but not giving up that. So there's still income flowing, of course, always. But
yeah, weddings are kind of like this. That's the constant income, because people are always getting married.
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
my wife was a midwife, and so like people have babies.
People are always having babies.
They like to make babies, and
exactly.
so it's like that's your bread and butter, and until you can break that ceiling and get in with the right people.
Yeah.
What I've learned, and probably you already know by your chef life and then doing this, that it's not always about the event, but it's about who is at this event that I'm going to meet that's going to help me go from here to here.
Yeah, always.
And
that's what we always think about. It's what we're trained. You know, all of us get together once every year and do a company-wide training of reminding ourselves this is why we're always arriving in uniform. This is why we always have branding. I mean, even my blazer today has our branding
I
on it.
noticed
Like,
that when you came in.
yes, and you're always presenting yourself, even when you're, just an assistant for a wedding or whatever. You're always presenting yourself correctly. You never know who you're going to meet. And my mom, who's a very Southern woman, God bless her, love her so much, she preached that. Love you, Mom. She preached that growing up. Like, every time we went out, even to the grocery store, she would feed my ego. She'd be like, you never know when you're going to be discovered. You'll never know when you're going to be discovered. And so, that just encouraged us to always put our best out there.
Yeah.
Dress best, look your best that you can. Obviously, I still go out in sweatpants sometimes, but it'll always be nice sweatpants, So, but especially
nice
sweatpants.
These are my Versace sweats.
These are yeah, exactly. So, but it's really about branding yourself and making yourself recognizable so that when you meet those people, they remember those are the girls that wear the teal and black. Those are the girls that have the same logo. And
it's hard to forget this beard.
Yeah, that's true. That is your brand.
I mean, we laugh, but I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I've said this before. My wife gets so sick and tired of going with me to places, and people are stopping me all the time.
Yeah.
And she's like, whenever they pass me,
Jake's the same way.
Nobody say anything to the disabled lady.
Oh my God.
I know she really milks that. I mean, and she is right too. It's been tough, but even before her stroke, like, she would just get so sick of it.
Yeah.
And like, she's like, people, you have this beard and you make friends and people just want to give you everything. And I've worked so hard and nobody gives me, like, I have a friend, shout out again to Chris McGowan of Peak 9860. Like, I met this guy on X. We started DMing, we became friends, and now we send each other cigars and we'll get on a FaceTime and talk. Like, he sent me all this, all these spirits and all the cigars in there, and I have a bottle of Michter's in there, and he like, just, we're friends, and he supports the show.
Yeah.
And she's like, these people, they just give you stuff. Here, take this, take this. And I'm like, look, babe, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. I don't know what to tell you. But I've had people tell me, like, with my beard, it's just like, you look like a cigar guy.
Yeah, you look like you know what you're talking about. Yeah. And that's, what we try to train our girls to do, and, what we try to
if you're going to be in a business, you need to know the business. And I'll tell you a story. Nothing will motivate you to learn about what you're doing than a good moment of humility.
Oh, yeah.
So my
I can't wait to follow up with another story I have.
My very first event with my 8-foot folding table and table full of cigars and pop-up tent was at Cityscape Winery for Father's Day in 2022. And at that time, I was just a guy that liked cigars. I enjoyed them, and I'm like, I think I can maybe just kind of do this little side hustle thing. And so I'm up there, I'm at my table, and this guy comes up, and he's like, give me a couple of your best Dominican cigars. And I'm like, and I'm just kind of looking around, and I have no idea.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, I'm like, that can't happen.
Yeah.
So you got to know your business.
Yeah, you do. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your follow-up there?
I have a few. There's been so many times that I'm just like, like humbled. This past weekend, it's raining. We're outside still taking photos in the pouring rain. I drop my clipboard. I bend over to pick it up. I'm drenched, by the way. Bend over to pick it up. I come back up. There's hair in my face. One of the bridesmaids goes, "Oh my God, you look like Cousin It." Thanks. Awesome. Thank you. Or there was a time that I showed up to a rehearsal, and I've been working with this client for 6 months. Not a long time, but long enough. We've been on Zooms. She was from New York or New Jersey. It was about 3 years ago. We've been on Zoom. We had never met each other in person. And she like walks in, and I greet her, and she goes, "Hey, what's your name?" Dallas, I'm your wedding planner. We know each other. She was kind of embarrassed a little bit too, but I was just like, all right, yeah, that's humbling. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You know,
Or like people are like, I thought Sarah would be my planner. Am I not good enough? Like, so little stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, let's move on to some of the personal, like part of what I like about Sunday Afternoon Smokes is not just exploring people's business and what they do, but exploring the people themselves. So we know that your culinary background, that's where things kind of started. Moved into hospitality in the world of event planning, wedding planning, and everything else planning. When did you discover that you wanted to go into being a chef?
Like I said earlier, I love being good at things, and I've always had good taste. I'm the youngest of two other girls, so I'm 10 years younger than my oldest sister. My parents were older when they had me, so by the time I was around, and they always joke about this, they're like, you never know struggle like we did. Like, mom and dad already had money by the time you came around. So I just, grew up going to, my dad was he was a soil scientist for the USDA. So he was invited to governor's balls, and he was invited, he traveled to DC. We got to travel a lot more, which means I got to taste a lot more. I was very, I was able to talk to adults. So I had a wider vocabulary. I think all of my life I was just kind of in that world, and I loved it. I was so enthralled by the cooking shows my mom had on the TV, or the little dinner parties she threw, or going to a really nice restaurant. I never wanted to order off the kids' meal. I wanted to try something new and different, and I just love those. I was also a fat kid, so like I loved food, and I wanted to try food. So I just never, I don't know, food was always so central in Southern culture. And my grandmother's a really amazing cook too. So I just was around all of this. And once I started doing it, I think I really loved the organization. I loved multiple aspects of chefing and cooking in general, but I love the organization. I love being in charge.
These are all aligning.
They're all aligned. It goes together a lot more than you'd think. I love being in charge. I love the creative aspect of like trying different things, weird things. Like Jake can attest to this. We'll have 3 things in our fridge and I'll somehow make it into something. And I had a birthday party when I was 11 years old that was Chopped theme. And I made all of my friends play Chopped with me. And like, have you watched Chopped? Are you familiar?
Sure, yeah.
Everyone is. I've always loved that kind of challenge aspect. So it really does intertwine a lot more with event planning than you think, just, with basic personality level things.
That's all like organization, scheduling, telling everybody what to do.
I love it. I love being in charge, and I love problem solving. Like, the satisfaction that comes from solving an issue is so fulfilling to me. And I got to do that in the kitchen, and I get to do that literally every day now. And I just love being the person that solved an issue. I don't know how else to put it. It's like probably pretty egotistical, but it's also just really, it's satisfactory. I like it. I mean, if you're not honest with yourself, a lot of people are doing that with, what they're doing with their lives. So
sure.
Yeah.
Do you, and you enjoy writing?
I do.
You said. So in what way?
I've always loved English. Like I said, I got in trouble as a child for my wide vocabulary and kind of sarcastic, insulting humor that other kids didn't understand, but teachers did. And I've always loved language. I think it's really interesting.
I love etymology.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's something I've always been interested in. I wish I was better at it, but it's something that I do all the time. So like I'll just write, I've been working on it's an outlet for me. So I've been working on a fantasy novel for like 5 years.
What's it about?
It's about
this girl who becomes a planet.
Yeah, it's about this girl who challenges herself. No, it's like a fantasy world based on multiple different mythologies. So I take a lot from Norse mythology, and then also kind of playing on that with other things that I've learned in cultures, and kind of just mixing it all together in my own little Tolkien way. And it's really fun. I mean, you have these characters and situations that randomly will pop up in your head, and it's just fun to write down. I don't think any of it necessarily goes together, but it's fun to write these short little stories for myself, and then maybe one day it'll turn into something. I'm not that good of a writer, but I've always liked it. It's
no,
really fun.
writing is fun.
Yeah, it is. It's another creative. So
I presume you mentioned the name Tolkien, so I presume you're a Lord of the Rings person.
I am. I'm a little bit, like I said, I was a fat kid. I had a lot of.
I don't know what being a fat kid and Lord of the Rings has to do with one another.
Oh, I could give you the pipeline. I mean, come on.
Gimli?
No,
Or,
no, you're a little nerdy. You know, wasn't with the popular kids for long, but no, I was really into it in high school. It was one of the first novels series that I read, like fantasy series.
Man, I tried to read The Lord of the Rings.
Really?
And I'm not a big reader. I like the idea of reading.
Yeah.
I really do. And I need to read more. Man, I struggle. I struggle.
There's sometimes I don't want to.
So. And I don't like reading fiction.
Oh, well, that's the only fun.
No, I want to read nonfiction. I want to read biographies of good people.
Yeah.
I want to read maybe like.
You should try a historical fiction book because it's something that's based on history, but it's a little more fantastical and entertaining. Sure. Sometimes real stuff isn't as fun.
Well, I've had so many people on this podcast like, have you read this? Have you read this? And because there are certain things that I like before the cigar box Black Label came along. It was another business concept in my head. I'm not going to share it on camera because who knows what's going to happen in the future. It might. And I just don't want to put it out there.
Yeah.
You know,
no, I get it the same way.
Baby, man.
I'm the same way.
And I can't tell you how many hours I spent in ChatGPT fleshing out this business idea.
Yeah.
So, anywho, you know, I just maybe historical fiction might be a good thing, but I like nonfiction stuff. But like I've had people talk to me, have you read about a book called The Gift Giver and about this? And it's all like entrepreneurial minded because apparently that's my zone now. I never really considered myself to be an entrepreneur, but now with the cigar box, starting Sunday afternoon smokes, and I had somebody reach out to me the other day about sponsorships and I mean, it's kind of the goal now.
Yeah.
I mean, if it never materializes, I'm okay with that. The finance, like making income off the podcast. I think it will.
It will.
But if it doesn't, I'm okay with that. But I like to read things that improve me personally.
Yeah, I admire that because I have a hard time reading things like that. I think it's probably like a therapy session real quick, but I think when I read things like that, I get pissed off because I'm like, what do you know? I'm like, I'm fine. I don't need no, or it's just like, oh, I do need to implement that. Oh, that's another thing I need to do or whatever. So, but it is.
I know you read those books and
it's something I'm trying. I know, right? I'm like, God, I should be waking up every day and writing 5 things that I need to feel good about life or whatever.
So, Lord of the Rings, the book or the movies?
I think the books are a lot harder to comprehend than the movies. They're really fun to read once you've read them like 3 times over, but the movies are so good.
Oh,
they're so
well. They've turned into classics.
They have,
but they were amazing at the time. And they're still great.
Have you watched Fellowship of the Rings on the HBO spinoff? It's about the elves. It's very cool. Showing my nerd side. Is that what it's called? I thought it was Fellowship.
Amazon. Well, the Fellowship of the Rings.
Right. That. Yeah. Rings of Power.
I watched.
Show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's gotten a little. It's like I might as well read the book.
Sure.
It's a little slow.
Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, or Return of the King.
Two Towers.
Let's go.
It's
the best of all 3. Yeah,
it's the best fight scenes and everything. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, they've made it through the Mines of Moria.
Yes.
You know, they're coming out and everything is building towards the Battle of Helm's Deep.
You have a Tolkien beard. Like you could be any of the characters with that beard.
Gimli.
Specifically. I mean, if we're going to be trying to
If we're going to be, because Aragorn does it in the movie, neither does Legolas.
That's true.
Neither does Boromir or...
Okay, I mean, you could be a wizard.
I could be Gandalf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could be Gandalf, you know. You shall not pass, bruh.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's funny. 2 Towers.
What's that one? I love seeing like
one cannot simply Oh yeah,
one does not simply
one does not simply walk into Mordor. Yeah.
Well, there's that one, but I love just seeing like all the memes and the stuff on Instagram when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Like one was when oh gosh, who's the king? The Return of the King? Aragorn.
Aragorn, yeah.
Aragorn. He busts through the doors and he's like, "My lord, Gondor calls for aid." The beacons are lit.
Yeah.
And Theoden tells him to, it says, "And Gondor will answer, muster the real hero." But it was all in this like new stupid language that the kids are saying these days. What does he say? Like Gondor asked, what did they ask for a lift or something like that? And then Theoden's like, "Say less."
Say less.
Yeah. Dude, it's hilarious.
That's so funny. I saw a meme the other day that was like, men love when women wear their hair half up, half down because that makes them think of like so it was so funny. Yeah.
Fantastic movie. It is, in my humble estimation, hands down better than The Hobbit. They're not even close.
No, they're not. They're different budgets. Like, yeah. I love The Hobbit, though. That was the first one I read. I read them in the correct order.
Well, and they're doing a new one. What is it, like The Hunt for Gollum or something like that?
Yeah, I saw that.
And I think Andy Serkis is doing.
They're bringing back a lot of the original actors.
Are they?
Lord of the Rings. So, should be interesting.
Like, I mean, Ian McKellen can't have that much left in the tank.
Yeah. We'll see.
I hope he does. He's a great Gandalf, like what and I like seeing those reels on social media where it shows you like actors that turn down certain roles.
Yeah.
Like, and once you can't see anybody else as Gandalf.
No, you can't.
So
yeah, I can't.
So if he couldn't be Gandalf,
I think a lot of people are having that problem with the new Harry Potter spinoff. They're having a hard time.
I didn't know they're doing it. I've never seen a single Harry Potter movie.
What?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the biggest thing in the world. No, they're doing like HBO is doing a show version of the books. And it's supposed to be a lot more accurate to the book. I don't know, but people are like, why they're mad at Snape looking different. They're mad at Hermione looking different. It's like, guys, it's all pretend.
Right. Yeah. Gosh, what's that? It's so like the world, or at least the acting world, lost a treasure when Alan Rickman died.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's such a great actor, or was. But again, I don't know, what character was he?
Was he one of the?
Isn't that his name, Alan Rickman?
Yeah. Wasn't he one of the? I'm looking at Jake.
He was one of the like professors.
Yeah.
We're all black.
Wait, was that Snape?
I think so.
He's dead?
Yeah, he's the guy that played like Hans, whatever, in Die Hard, like way back when.
Wait, is that Snape?
He was.
I'll have to look it up.
He was like the evil sheriff of Nottingham.
Yeah.
Like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Guy.
Oh shit.
Yeah. He's passed.
Oh wow, wait, I didn't know that. I was just playing along. Holy crap.
Damn. Yeah, he died a couple of years ago, I think.
Where have I been? I don't know.
You've been like elbow deep up to your neck in planning weddings.
Yeah, I've been busy a little.
Yeah. So, but you also, you got a pretty sizable collection of vinyl.
I do. That was one of my first. Music is like my first love. I wish I was talented enough to have some dedication to learn an instrument or sing. I can't sing.
Anything?
I don't play anything. I don't play anything except for the vibes of the music that's already playing. Like
I play the music.
I play the music. I feel like I could have been a DJ in the past life. Like I feel like I have the right ear for it. I've never learned. I will one day. I think I'm going to start piano lessons as an adult, maybe.
Piano's tough, man.
I know.
You're playing bass clef and treble clef at the same time.
And at this point, my brain has so much going on that I don't know if I can like commit. But I love music. I think I had my parents are both. They have amazing music taste. Like my dad introduced me to all the classics, of course, and then a lot of red dirt country like superstars, just the even from bluegrass to He's from Kentucky, so a lot of, Memphis-based artists and everything. So he has amazing taste in that side of the world with rock and jazz and country. And then my mom has the side of like, she knows all the pop queens. Like she is very into that world, even rap. She introduced me to it at a young age. I was the youngest, so my 16-year-old and 14-year-old sisters are in the front seat and I'm in the back listening to Tupac. Like I didn't know what I was 4 years old, whatever, but I knew it was good music and I knew taste. So come like middle school time, I was finding what I wanted to do, and I whatever. I don't know what possessed me to start getting vinyls. I think it was Tumblr. I was very influenced by Tumblr, and the girls who know. But I was running my little blog on Tumblr, and I was a little One Direction fan, and I think that spiraled into a lot of like dedication to researching music. And I got really into the Beatles, like huge Beatle head, like I know. And then but that also spiraled into, Rolling Stones and AC/DC and Aerosmith, and I fell in love with Steven Tyler and like all these amazing rock icons, and that then spiraled into like Blink-182 and like all of these more modern punk rockers or whatever you want to call them, pop punk, and then that spiraled into a lot of indie music artists who were actively selling vinyls, which was not something that a lot of pop artists were doing. So I started with collecting older music. I inherited my dad's collection. I inherited my uncle, who I have original Smiths albums and Adam and the Ants albums, like really cool music from him. And then I started buying, the new age artists. So I'm kind of building that collection. I can't really care much about vintage records because I don't have the time that a lot of people do, and dedication to find original vinyls and original this and that. It's more like if I stumble on it, I actually play my records, so I want to buy quality ones, not vintage. And also being in Austin, I had a lot of access to some amazing music. I was at South by Southwest, got on the train to go to South by Southwest, which is a art festival in Austin, as like a 15-year-old, and I somehow managed to get in to see people and like finagled my way in to see performers that are now like huge. So
I don't know. It's probably not I don't really keep up with music. I don't listen to new music unless it's a super popular song. I'm happy with like everything I knew back there. But you find like Austin City Limits was a big deal, and like the music and like Stevie.
I used to volunteer to be a like trash picker upper at ACL so that I could go.
Is it still a thing?
It's gotten huge, like big headliners, like they've had Sabrina Carpenter, Niall Horan, like really big pop artists. It's become more of that. But when I was in high school and even middle school, it was more small. It was more like country or indie artists and even some rock artists. And then by high school, we were getting like the 1975. We were getting some more bigger indie artists, and now it's like Coachella. Like it's huge.
So who? Let me just fire off some questions here. Your favorite? Let's call it like, what's the right word? Like old school country music. Who's your guy?
Willie Nelson.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Willie Nelson, or I love Johnny Cash. I
mean, I'm looking for a certain name, and if it doesn't come out, I don't think I'm going to publish this episode.
I mean, obviously, like Johnny Cash, like he's a classic. He's always
Merle Haggard.
Okay.
Come on, yeah. I mean, Merle.
Listened to a lot of Blues Brothers growing up and that kind of thing too. So yeah,
like Merle Haggard. Gosh, I love that guy.
Yeah,
he's so good. I'm trying to remember who the other artist was that was a really close second to Merle Haggard, in my opinion. So I had this conversation with my family not that long ago. Willie's got some good stuff. I'm
loyal to Willie. I grew up seeing Willie every time he was in Austin, and
I'm not sure.
I don't even know if he love
Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground. The duet he did with Ray Charles, Seven
Yeah.
Spanish Angels, and what's that other one? Help Me Make It Through the Night.
Yeah.
Those are all.
That seems like a pretty big list.
Yeah, those are 4 Willie songs.
Yeah.
Those are
They're
all
classics.
like
Yeah.
Merle
Non-negotiables.
Haggard.
Hit for
I
it.
think I'll just stay here and drink.
Yeah.
I love that song. Merle, your favorite. Let's call it, 80s, 90s country.
80s, 90s country. Eagles, probably. I wouldn't even classify
I
them as
wouldn't even
country.
say they're not country.
George Strait.
King George.
King George. He's gonna be here, or was he here?
Yes, he's coming to Desert Valley.
I think George Strait also performed a lot in my little town outside of Austin. Georgetown. He also performed a lot in Austin. So George Strait was just always around.
He's freaking king.
And he's the king, and he's just the king of love songs, king of everything. Like I love when he passes, if he passes, let me say, and he goes to heaven as he should.
It's gonna be
a really hard day.
It's gonna be a crazy to the world of music.
Yeah,
like,
it's
he's
gonna
an
be like
icon.
Dolly level. I mean, when we lose Dolly, I'm gonna need a whole day of rest, kind of thing. Like, it's gonna be rough.
I'm also a huge fan of Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah.
Did you know? I don't know if you've ever heard it. He has a cover of Purple Rain.
Really?
That is phenomenal.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'll email it.
Yeah, please send it to me.
Killer.
And I don't know if they would count as 90s. I feel like they probably started in the 90s. I know they're 2000s, but the Dixie Chicks or the Chicks, I'm a very loyal Chicks fan. I love the Chicks. I always will.
Earl.
Yeah.
Great
That's why
song.
my best friend Peyton, she's our marketing manager, that's one of her favorite songs.
Like, I was super excited, probably 8 or 10 years ago when that band Midland came out.
I love Midland. Yeah.
They had most country music is not, it's pop.
Yeah.
And I hate it. Like, all this freaking Morgan Wallen BS. Like, that is not country.
It is pop. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
so
pop
with
with twang.
Midland, like, they sounded like Alan Jackson, Dwight Yoakam, and of course, I don't know if Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson and I know who I was battling with, Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings.
Oh, Waylon Jennings, yes.
Freaking Waylon, come on
now. Yeah.
I don't know if those guys would grumble about George Strait and
I mean, but because George Strait to them is more poppy.
Yeah, probably.
He's
That's
catchy.
just how
He's got
it goes.
the catchy tunes.
And I mean, we lost him too soon. God rest his soul, Toby Keith.
I have to tell you something about Toby Keith.
Tell me.
I was so in love with that man when I was a child. I had his album. I don't even remember what the name of the album was, but it had the doghouse on it.
Oh, yeah.
What was it called? It was like Bone of It. I don't know what it was, but
yeah.
I had his CD of that. And when we were moving to Texas, I was 5 or 6 years old, and I just had my portable CD player, and I had Toby Keith, and I had Hillary Duff, and I listened to Toby Keith the whole way to Texas. And then I saw a photo of him, and I was like, that's my man. So as a child, I loved Toby Keith. I would yell it from the outside the windows. I'd be like, I love Toby Keith. As a little kid in Texas, I don't know why. I just had to profess my love for this man.
Yeah.
And when we lost it, it was so sad. Actually, Riley Green performed at the event we did. He performed courtesy of the USA. And it was one of the best songs.
Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. Don't let the old man in.
Yeah.
Who's Your Daddy?
Yeah, I love that song.
Who's Your Daddy? Made in America. Like, I will sing.
Want to talk about me when I love that song.
You know Made in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that stuff gets me emotional, though, because I'm very patriotic.
Same.
I was driving down the road last weekend to help a guy with a podcast, and I was just had Made in America on repeat.
Yeah.
I have tears coming down my eyes. You know what I mean? Just because
I know.
And I'm the kind of guy, this is so weird, that very patriotic, masculine, I love my country, I will fight to defend it. And this is gonna sound weird, but I'll have tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
When Aragorn and the last of the army is right outside the gates of the Mordor, and he's like, for Frodo.
For Frodo.
And it's it's just the idea, and it's the World War II, it's
Yes.
whatever. It's like these men fighting to protect their home.
Yes.
And that
for
stuff,
a greater reason than just yourself.
that stuff moves me.
It's the male urge to go to war. Yeah. I don't have that, but good for y'all.
Yeah.
My husband has the same thing.
Yeah.
He just watches, reads about, talks about like different wars, and there's something about men that are interested in that are protectors.
It's not the war, it is what it's for.
Yes.
And this is my home, and this is my wife, and these
Can I ask, what is your star sign? Do you know?
I'm a Libra.
A Libra? Okay.
Not that I pay attention to that stuff, but that's what I am.
It's a very air sign thing to think that way of compassionate and thinking about the greater good, and also like who you're fighting for and what you're fighting for and caring about that kind of thing. Jake's an Aquarius, which is also an air sign. I'm a Gemini. So we have the 3 air signs in the room right now. Good vibes. Good vibes.
I'm a Christian, and that's all like, that what is evil and what is good and how we conquer and all that, like that stuff just really, it's
integral, yeah.
So, all right, so we've covered country. Mm-hmm. I don't want to belabor this too long.
I could talk about music all day.
Yeah, this can turn into a really long podcast. I have a pretty eclectic taste. I'm like that old school country, classic 90s. Mm-hmm. I don't listen to much new country because, like I said, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Just the thought came into my mind, like blending some of your loves, like when Toby Keith died. Then there was a hole in your soul from Aerosmith. You know what I mean? A hole in my soul, killing me forever. Aerosmith is cool. I love. I don't know. Like, I'm not much into rap. There's a few songs from way back then that I'm down. Like
you grew up so close to H-Town, you don't...
ZZ Top.
Yeah, okay.
That's my jam. They're like
Jake loves ZZ Top, yeah.
I look like I could belong to the
band.
You know what I mean? I'm a little bit of Def Leppard in there. I'm down with some Metallica, with some U2, with Pearl Jam, with some...
I love Pearl Jam.
What's the bands? They're escaping me right now. AC/DC, the Rolling Stones. I don't really care for the Beatles. So I'm down with Jimmy Buffett,
Oh, yeah.
God bless Jimmy.
God bless Jimmy
I hope he
Buffett.
got that cheeseburger paradise.
Yeah, he did. Every day at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. All right. I guess last thing here. Oh, 2 more things. Let's talk about curating your apartment.
Okay. It has been an adventure. We have a gorgeous apartment, something I've dreamed of having forever. Whenever I was that little middle schooler who was getting into film and getting into writing and music and stuff, and I was on Tumblr, I saw these New York City apartments with exposed brick and the views and everything. And I always wanted that. And then I grew up and realized I'd never want to live in New York City, and I don't necessarily want to live in any of the other big cities. So then we come here and I find these mill-style apartments. And I was like, this is awesome. And they're huge.
Kind of like the same vibe.
Same vibe. And it's something I've always just dreamed of having. So that was a big, fulfillment in me for having that. But it's been so fun. We need big art. If you know anyone who can make some big-ass art, we need that. Because the walls are 16 feet high.
I know a guy.
Yeah, I know some.
I do. I know a guy. He's not cheap.
Yeah. I mean, no art is going to be cheap that's that big. But there's we're kind of going for this is so broad and stupid sounding, but a kind of clean Spanish Western style, like contemporary style. So we'll bring in really bold, earthy colors from the Spanish style with the really pretty architecture and
it's like the terracotta color.
Yeah, but even darker, some darker browns, I love a deep red color. I also just love, bringing it. I'm so obnoxious about being from Texas. For someone who doesn't live in Texas and didn't want to live in Texas, I'm really loud about it, and I think that attests to growing up there. But my girlfriends here make fun of me for even before I came over here, I was FaceTiming with Peyton, our marketing manager, and I was like, yeah, I'm going on a podcast. He's from Texas. And she was like, awesome. You'll have so much to talk about.
We didn't talk about Texas that much. Like, I have strong feelings about certain things.
Yeah.
If it wasn't against my personal standards, I'd fly a huge Texas flag outside.
Yeah, exactly. There's an urge to like.
I would, but
yeah.
I would put Texas stuff all over the inside of my house.
Yeah.
But I have
just
a
wanna pay
conflict in my
homage to it.
soul about doing that on the outside. I should respect the state that I'm in.
Exactly. I feel the same way, and also I'm just more like I want to be able to do it in a very slightly subtle way, or at least an artistic way of like, you know, having a cool contemporary painting of, I don't know, some horses or a cowboy or, you know, some bluebonnets. So yeah.
Yeah. Last question. JonBenet Ramsey.
I thought you never ask.
Oh no, it's in the nose, man.
That was my favorite question, because I was like, by the point I was, you know, filling that out, I was like, I feel like all we're doing is talking about business. What else are my interests? I'm very passionate in the fact that, you know, of who killed JonBenet Ramsey.
Okay, before you let the cat out of the bag to everybody listening or watching, I'm going to let you know that I'm not very educated on this case. I know that
I'll send you a podcast to listen to.
I'm not going to listen to it.
Okay.
Just want to know up front. JonBenet Ramsey, obviously, we kind of know the idea. She's like young girl in the pageants. She's probably a winner, you know, probably making her way up. Very future, big time potential. She gets murdered. We know, you know, it wasn't like Colonel Mustard in the library with the candlestick.
Yeah, it was.
There's
so much to it.
So much. And this is how many years now ago?
It's been so long.
So, like, are you deep in this story? You like know?
I went through a big phase of it, and it's something I think about at least once a day. I don't know if you've seen the joke.
Once a day? Like how many minutes?
Maybe like once a week.
Every day?
Maybe once a week. If I, you know, if something reminds me of JonBenet, I'm going to think, who killed her? So, I don't know. My best friends in the world, Ashlyn and Kendall, and we went through a really big phase of true crime. It was like there was a few podcasts that were super huge when we were in college, and we'd listen to them on our drives home because we both lived hours away. So, and then we would talk about them. And JonBenet Ramsey was one that we all got stuck on, and it's something that I just like. I hate that we don't know. Like, we don't know what happened to her, but it feels there's so much evidence, there's so much to the case that it feels like we should know, and there's something that's being left out. So yeah, I do think about it, and I just know that, you know, when I get into heaven one day, hopefully, I meet JonBenet Ramsey, I'd love to ask her, who the hell did this to you? It's just something.
So who do you think killed her?
I think her parents killed her, specifically her mom.
Okay.
Yeah. Why
do you think that?
Well, the mom wrote the note that was left. There's mom handwriting on everything, and there's also a lot of like, I don't know, it could have been a spiral. Guys, I need y'all to understand that I've spiraled about this a lot, and like there's things like, you know, people are reaching for stuff from this, and I listen to that and I eat it up, and there's a lot about this whole case that just doesn't make sense. But what does make sense is the fact that this child was killed in her own home, and they didn't know about it. Okay. And there was no way to really get into the basement where she was killed, except for maybe her brother. And a lot of people think it's her brother. I think it's her mom. There's some child psychologists out there that have broken it down. Like, the mom is jealous. That's why she put her in all these pageants. And then she got attention from people. And she was so jealous that she, you know, whatever. So it's a big mystery that there's no answer.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, look, I have no opinions on the matter either way.
Yeah.
I just thought we'd run that rabbit trail.
I love that. Yeah. If anyone wants to go down a rabbit hole, I have a few books for you. There's some books and some podcasts for you. So
I think I've covered everything that I had to talk about, unless we missed something that you want to hit on.
I feel like you know my life story now. So
I think I'm going to write a novel.
Yeah. There you go.
With the JonBenet chapter. This is your introduction.
Chapter 1. This girl was obsessed with JonBenet Ramsey. No, it was nice talking to you, and thank you for having me. So it was so fun.
So where can people find you on social media?
Yeah.
What's the website? How do they reach out if they need services for event planning or bridal our wedding, all that stuff.
Yeah. So our company is called Stunning and Brilliant Events. You can find us on Instagram at Stunning and Brilliant Events, all spelled out. You can inquire with me specifically for anywhere in the upstate, Dallas at stunningandbrilliantevents.com. Everything is Stunning and Brilliant Events, all of our socials and all of our websites. So you can find us anywhere.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dallas, thanks for carving out a few hours on a Monday evening to hang out with me. It's been a pleasure.
So nice meeting you. I did.
Awesome. And thank you for watching and or listening. Share Sunday Afternoon Smokes with your friends. Share with your family. Share it on your socials and share it with the world, because Sunday Afternoon Smokes is really sweet. We'll talk to you soon.